We have a couple of different topics of breaking news in the NHL, and both are fairly significant. We finally have a contract between the Anaheim Ducks and Mason McTavish. He's agreed to a fairly long-term deal. We'll discuss the details of that contract, and we have another very big day on the NHL waiver wire with another 18 players placed on waivers for the purpose of being signed to the minor leagues. We'll discuss all the news coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have a couple of big important news items to discuss here today. First, we got some big news regarding Mason McTavish and the Anaheim Ducks. That stalemate has finally come to an end, and we have another big day of waiver wire activity. So we'll start with the news between the Anaheim Ducks and Mason McTavish. Unfortunately, he's missed the first half or more of training camp. Training camp is quite a far ways into things now, and he's finally signed, so he can get to camp immediately, but he's agreed to a 6-year contract at $7 million per season. I think this is a fantastic deal for the Ducks. I know that I honestly think McTavish is worth at least this much money. There was some rumors that he was looking for something in the $7 million range on a longer-term contract, and that for the longest time the Ducks were only offering around $5.5 million. So this is a pretty significant jump up in money for Anaheim. I mean, all indications were that Pat Verbeek and the Ducks viewed McTavish as being a core piece in the top six for that team moving forward for the foreseeable future, and that they absolutely wanted to get him signed. I do think there was a little bit of hesitancy on McTavish's side because they were quite low on money, and I do think it was fair to say that there might have been some frustration at times and some concerns over what exactly his role is going to be. I think he's seen some other guys and how they've been handled and how the negotiations have gone, and it might have kind of boiled over here a little bit, but at the end of the day, they get something done. So it's $7 million per season. I know based on McTavish's his recent numbers and his results, I think it's probably going to be something he grows into, but I think this is going to be more than fair, and in the short term, this will be looked upon as a bargain. I think over this year and next year, you're going to see a lot of growth in McTavish's game. He's still a young man. Get a new coach this year in Joel Quenneville, some different teammates to play with. The Ducks are improving as a team, and I just think he's got the size, the speed, the skill. Like, he is the total package, and will be a force down the middle for the Ducks. Him and Leo Carlson will make a formidable 1-2 punch. So I do think this is the right move for Anaheim. If I would have gone more than 6 years, if you could have come to terms with it. So good deal for McTavish, good deal for the Ducks. He can get back to camp, at least get a little bit of training camp in. So hopefully his start of the season isn't too delayed with timing and all that stuff. He's been skating with the Ottawa 67s back home in Ottawa, but it's just you can't really duplicate what that is, and as well as not only you can't reduplicate an NHL camp and an NHL game. So at this rate, the Ducks would still have time for him to get enough practices and a little bit of preseason action that I suspect he'll be as close as you can to being good to go for opening night. So that's great news for McTavish and for Anaheim. Now, as I mentioned, it's another big day of NHL waiver wire activity. We have 18 players on waivers today. There was no claims from the guys that were on there yesterday. So far, the waiver wire has seen a lot of players and hasn't seen any claims. That's likely going to change here in the coming days as more and more interesting names end up getting cut from their NHL roster. So today, on the waiver wire, we have the Buffalo Sabres with defenseman Jack Rathbone. We have 4 players with the Columbus Blue Jackets, including Dyson Mayo, Hunter McCown, Zach Sawchenko, and Owen Sillinger. The New York Islanders have Adam Beckman on waivers. The Calgary Flames have Jeremy Poirier. A little disappointing to see him cut so early. I've seen Poirier play a lot during junior with the St. John Sea Dogs, and I'm not shocked he's not a regular NHLer right now, but I thought he might be a later cut based on how he's performed the last couple of years, but obviously that goes to show that either players have passed him on the depth chart, or in the view of the Flames here, that I guess maybe he's just not as close to making it as we thought. So he'll go down to the minor leagues. I'm sure he's probably not going to be claimed. You never know, though. In Colorado, we have 3 players as well, including Alex Beret-Boulet, Ty Fellhaber, and Jason Pollan. The Edmonton Oilers also have a trio of players, including Robbie Harventi, Josh Brown, who I know a lot of people well, no, I shouldn't say a lot, but I know there were some that covered the Oilers that were convinced Josh Brown was going to reemerge this year and be a big part of the top 6 decor. And I'm like, I don't see it happen. I know he's a really big body. He can drop the gloves, half decent fighter, but like, he's just a liability out there, to be completely honest. I've seen him play enough over his NHL career that he's just, he's a fringe player at best. And he will be somebody they can call upon if need be, but he won't be a regular in their lineup. They also have James Hamblin on waivers as well. The St. Louis Blues have 2 players, including Nikita Alexandrov and Hugh McGinn. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have a trio of players as well. No big shocking surprises here. Travis Boyd, Bo Gruel, and Vinny Lettieri are all on waivers for the purpose of going down to the Marlies. So I know Lettieri is probably the one guy that maybe had an outside shot at the 4th line role, but they've got so many forwards that there's a large amount of guys that they can pick from for that spot. And you're looking at guys like Lawton and Lawrence might be on the 4th line. I'm not sure. Dakota Joshua might be in the 3rd line. You get Nick Waugh. They've got probably at least 4, if not 5, of their bottom 6 spots kind of spoken for. That's pretty clear. So there's not a lot of room. You still got some veterans like Kampf and Yarncroke, who I know they've been rumored to be looking to try to move. There's the future of Nick Robertson and all that. So none of these guys should be overly shocked. It just kind of drops the numbers down. Some days, even with what they've cut, they still have too many guys, and there's going to be some more tough decisions to come here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So out of these 18 players, let me know your thoughts in the comments if any of these guys stand a chance to get claimed. To be honest, I would not be shocked if we go into tomorrow's waiver activity and find out that they all cleared, and they're likely only going to be in the coming days. This number that we see is only going to probably stay pretty steady. We're at a point now with enough cuts being made by teams that you tend to get anywhere 15, 20, sometimes 30 or more players on waivers on any given day until we get, probably through another little stretch of time until the rosters are trimmed down to being, either at the NHL roster that's going to open the season or pretty close to it when there's just the last few things and cuts to be made. But let me know your thoughts on the McTavish contract, the waiver activity. We'll talk about it further in the comments. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.